Okay, looks like we're all set.
Okay. The Superior Court for the Hartford Judicial District is now open and in session. The Honorable James Sicilian presiding. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. We're here for an application for a civil protective order filed by Elizabeth Protzman, and the respondent is Theodora Antar. Would the parties who are present please identify themselves? I don't see anyone on camera. Do you have cameras turned on? Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
And you are?
I'm Elizabeth Protzman.
Okay, good morning. Ms. Antar with us? Good morning. It appears your microphone is muted.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so are both parties ready to proceed with respect to this application?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to give you a little preliminary introduction. Okay, we're here on a hearing for a civil protective order. The person who applies for the order is referred to as the applicant. The person against whom the order is sought is referred to as the respondent. Under our law, the application, as I read it, is based upon allegations of stalking. Under our law, a person who has been the victim of stalking may make an application for a civil protective order if the person has not obtained some other order of protection arising out of the stalking. Stalking is defined in our law as 2 or more willful acts performed in a threatening, predatory, or disturbing manner of harassing, following, lying in wait, or wait for, surveilling, monitoring, or sending unwanted gifts or messages to another person directly or indirectly by any method or means in a manner that causes the person to reasonably fear for her physical safety. In order to provide a basis for the court to issue a civil protective order, the applicant must demonstrate stalking according to that definition and must also show that there are reasonable grounds to believe that the respondent has engaged in such conduct and that the respondent will continue to engage in such conduct or in acts designed to retaliate or against or intimidate the applicant. So that's the basis on which we're here today. With that, I'll turn it over to the applicant. Are you planning to testify?
Yes.
Okay, and is the respondent planning to testify as well?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to say just preliminarily, I want to remind you both that you're not compelled to testify, that anything you say here may be used not only in this proceeding, but in any other proceeding, whether in the civil, criminal, or family court. A record is being made of your testimony here. You have a Fifth Amendment right and rights under the Connecticut Constitution to decline to testify as to any matter. Here, if you choose to testify, anything you say may be used against you in any other proceeding or in this proceeding. With that, I will ask the clerk to swear you both in.
Okay, ladies, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Please state your name and address for the record, including the spelling of your last name. We're going to start with Ms. Protzman.
Okay, Ms. Protzman, please proceed.
Okay. So first, I want to say that Ms. Antar and I met over social media. She contacted me on Instagram back in January and asked me to go out for drinks with her. I gave her my number and we started communicating. We became friends, got close, and she asked me to intervene on her custody case. So if you look at Exhibit 1, there's about several weeks of text message communications between her and I, where it's demonstrated that she asked me to intervene on her behalf over 17 times, including but not limited to saying, I would love you forever if you help me. If you come, that would be awesome. If you get Angelina for me, Angelina is her daughter. Ugh, I need your help. Please help me tomorrow. That's why I was seeing if you could help me. asking me to accompany her to drop the daughter off, asking me to get her daughter again, then asking me to babysit the daughter at her home, also asking a second time if I would babysit the daughter at my home. She also asked me to pick her daughter up in Waterbury. She also started sending me screenshots of the conversations that she was having with her ex-boyfriend, the daughter's father, and her mother. She sent me over 50 screenshots of the conversations that she was having with them. She then begged me to help her, saying I would owe you forever because I offered to meet her at a library to watch her daughter where the kids could play. Then on March 28th, she actually asked me to contact her ex-boyfriend's mother, the mother-in-law, Karen Bowers, and provided me with Karen Bowers' phone number. I did so. I contacted the mother per her request. Against my better judgment, Miss Bowers did not respond. So Miss Bowers called me back and asked me who I was. I explained the situation, that I was just a friend trying to help out. I meant no harm. Miss Bowers was irate. She told me that Miss Antar was dangerous and should not be contacting her at all and should not have her phone number. Then Matthew Lodice, Miss Antar's ex, contacted me over the phone because not only did Miss Bowers have my number, but my phone number is in the signature of my emails, which I'll get into in a second. Mr. Lodice contacted me, which on March 28th, to which Miss Antar started to become irrational and irate. She started to get suspicious that there was something going on between Mr. Lodice and I. I sent her screenshots of everything. I assured her multiple times that nothing was going to happen between him and I. I also blocked him per her request. She then another time asked me to contact him so that the two of them could meet up. At this point, she actually three-way called Mr. Lodice from her phone, blocking the number, and asked me to speak with Mr. Lodice on her behalf. She did this twice. Mr. Lodice was recording these conversations for their custody case. During both conversations, she hung up on us after Mr. Lodice started to make comments about her parenting. So I blocked his number, and she continued to ask me to contact him. On March 29th, she asked me to reach out to him and said, can you email him? Which I did. And I also acknowledged that I would unblock him. Right. If you look at I can give you all the page numbers for this, Your Honor. I unblocked him, as I said, so that in case he contacted me. So on March 29th at 6:35, I emailed him. And this is after, being CC'd on probably almost 24 emails. She was CCing me on dozens of email conversations back and forth between her and Mr. Lodice. So not only did, she asked me to contact him, but she was also CCing me on and sending me screenshots of communications that they were having. She was having me sit in on three-way phone calls with him and communicate with him on her behalf. I sent him the email, and he at 6:35, and he sent me a text message at 7:55. Your Honor, you'll see this at page 142 of the text messages. And at this point, Ms. Antar became verbally aggressive, irrationally accusing me of going after her ex in a sexual manner, accusing me of contacting him behind her back, despite directly, Your Honor, directly in the text message. I can give you the page numbers of all the times that this woman either asked me to get involved or thanked me for getting involved, asked me to message her ex, asked me to call Karen Bowers, asked me to email people. She became, irrational, accusing me of trying to sleep with him. And I told her to leave me alone. I said, you know what? I asked her for an apology. That made her even more mad. I said, I don't like this. You're being really rude. This isn't what friends do. I repeatedly said, I'm just trying to help you. Okay. At 9:05, I told her in a text message to never contact me again. Okay. Now, meanwhile, if you...
That was on 3/29, March 29th?
Yes. On March 29th.
Okay.
I said, I'm blocking you on socials. Don't contact me. I'm blocking Matt as well. Like, just leave me alone. Okay. So at 8:58 a.m., right before that, she sent me a harassing email, despite me reassuring her that nothing sexual was happening between me and her ex, Matthew Lodice. In the email, she accuses us of trying to sleep together and starts divulging personal details about Matthew's sexual health, saying that he has HPV and herpes, and told me good luck with that. If you look at Exhibit 8, Your Honor, you'll see the email chain, and you'll see the last email chain within that at the very bottom, probably the last 2 pages, is her sending that email. At that point, I said, do not contact me. This is the second time that I said, no one's trying to sleep with anyone. Do not contact me. I do not want to be in the middle of this drama. Please leave me alone. Okay? At this point, responded then, irate that I didn't want to be friends with her anymore, that I didn't want to be involved in her custody drama anymore. She starts messaging people in my life to send to harass me, to stalk me. First, she contacted my estranged husband, who I'm going through a separation and divorce with. This you'll see Exhibit 15, communications between respondent and Christopher Smith. This is an unsolicited, unwarranted Facebook messages that she's sending to him. In the messages, she calls me psychotic, claims I was texting her ex all night behind her back, which is false. Your Honor, if you also take a look at Exhibit 7, you'll see the text message chain that I downloaded. It's all the text messages that Matthew Lodice and I sent to each other before, she had her meltdown. She then sends him multiple screenshots of my private conversations about romantic interests of mine. And then she discloses to Christopher Smith that I had been raped, casts doubt on the fact that I was raped, and proceeds to slut shame me for being raped. She then tells Christopher, gives Christopher her phone number, and says, I will tell you everything. Respondent, if you continue through that exhibit, sir, you'll then see the text message conversation. Respondent even names my rapist by name. She even names my rapist by name. She also names 2 other romantic interests of mine, giving this information away. Your Honor, if you look at Exhibit 13, I have a civil protection order against Christopher Smith after he physically attacked me in front of my children. Okay? Him and I have been working with a mediator since January of 2021 to end our marriage. He is my abuser, and Miss Antar was feeding information about me being raped and about my romantic interests to my abuser, putting me in danger. And this is despite 2 requests of mine in text message and email to leave me alone. She put me in direct risk for abuse. And yes, that is dangerous and scary. Exhibit 14, is a resident letter from Interval House. I had to stay in a safe house for several weeks with my family because of my ex. And this woman contacted him unwarranted, unsolicited, and was sending him information, slut-shaming me, calling me psychotic, and claiming and giving information away about my sexual assault that I had confided into her. Your Honor, if you look at Exhibit 2, page 32, I confided in her because I thought she was my friend. I told her how I had been sexually assaulted. And she used that information against me to stop me. She put me in danger. That's also tampering with an investigation, because right now I'm going through the process of reporting the rape and filing a protective order against my rapist. So things that I have no doubt in my mind that she contacted my rapist. I don't know, but I can only speculate. Additionally,
I'm sorry, would you go back to Exhibit 2 for me and explain to me what Exhibit 2 reflects?
Yes. So on Exhibit 2, page 32, I confided in Miss Antar that I felt like I had been raped, that somebody abused me sexually while I was unconscious.
Yeah, I may have the wrong or mismarked exhibit. Exhibit 2.
Or I'm sorry, excuse me. Exhibit 1.
Exhibit 1 at what page now?
Exhibit 1, 32.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
apologize. I apologize for that, Your Honor. That was my mistake.
I understand.
Okay. So I started confiding in her how I had been sexually assaulted because I thought she was my friend and I thought I could trust her. She then took this information and told my abuser, my ex-husband. So not only was she putting me at risk, but she was divulging information that could tamper with the criminal investigation. And I mean, I can only speculate that she contacted my rapist. She named my rapist by name in these messages to my husband. Now, she also divulged 2 of my romantic interests to my ex-husband, which put me at further risk and could have put those gentlemen in risk, if my ex-husband wanted to retaliate. She also sent screenshots of my conversations with her about these 2 people. Now, Your Honor, if you'll look at Exhibit 11, these are communications and text messages with one of those individuals that are consensual. And this person actually reached out to me to warn me that Miss Antar was messaging him and harassing him. This is a person named Vinnie Penn. If you look at Exhibit 12, this is another chain of conversations with a second romantic interest of mine that Miss Antar named in her conversations with Christopher Smith, my ex.
Sorry, let me go back to 11 and explain to me what Exhibit 11 is, please.
So these are communications on Facebook and in text with a gentleman named Vinnie Penn.
Who's communicating?
Vinnie Penn and I.
Okay.
He was someone who I was romantically involved with for several months, including on one occasion where we met up and were physically intimate. And so it's important also for me to put this into exhibit as well, because it demonstrates that not only did she reach out to my ex-husband, but she also reached out to Vinnie Penn. She reached out to Vinnie Penn, and she said she must have said some slanderous, libelous stuff. I have no idea what the content of their conversation was, but he actually reached out to me out of concern and said, hey, this person contacted me on Facebook and said that you were, talking negatively about me or something like that. So this is the second person that she's contacting. Unwarranted, unsolicited contact that she's making with people in my life. So at this point, I, was scared for my safety. This woman has been, messaging people about my rape. She's been putting me in danger with my abuser. And Your Honor, she has been physically violent with other people in the past. If you refer to a text message, if you refer to Exhibit 7, there's a text message from her ex-husband, or for her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Lodice, directly indicating that Miss Antar pushed her older daughter, Juliana, to the ground with 2 of her hands, like an adult. His exact words were, 2-hand pushed her to the ground like an adult for crying. So at this point, I'm like scared because, she also, in her text message conversations, she threatened, she indicates that she wants to become physically violent against her mother. She also admits that she has mental health issues and has been hospitalized before. She also admits that, excuse me. In the text message from Matthew Lodice, where he indicates that she pushed her daughter. This is also one of the things that he said, sir. He said, respect, good mother, you don't have any of the facts. She tells her own mother she wishes she was dead. She tells my mother she wishes she's dead. She told my 13-year-old that he was a fat retard. She got Angelina kicked out of every daycare we've ever been to, made every babysitter never want to work with her. She made fake abuse reports against our first daycare. She constantly doesn't show up for Angelina, her daughter, leaving her in tears. And listen to this, Your Honor. She harasses anyone who doesn't give her what she wants, calling them, their spouses, their family, their jobs. I watched her two-hand push Juliana, her other daughter, into the pavement like a grown-up when she was just 5 because she was crying about something. She lies, cheats, and steals. She's a terrible human, let alone a horrible mother. If I were you, if you were smart, keep yourself as far away from her as possible. Ask anyone who knows her. Ask her own family. Now, these are comments that Matthew's making on March 29th and about Miss Antar, okay? So, I contacted the police because I was scared and I was frustrated. I asked this woman twice not to contact me, to leave me alone, that I was just going to block her, but she contacted my ex. She contacted one of my romantic interests that I know of. Now, Your Honor, I'd like to bring into the discussion Exhibit 2. After I filed, when the police came to my house and I called a lawyer, they told me to file for a civil protective order against her, which I did. I went to the courthouse. I explained my situation to them. And I was honest in everything I said. I have documentation for everything that I said, everything. After this, after Miss Antar was served with the protective order, she had another meltdown, okay, and filed for a civil protective order against me in Milford Court. Your Honor, please look at Exhibit 2. In Exhibit 2, she falsely claims that I have an unhealthy obsession with her. She falsely claims that I insisted on helping her with her daughter, which is not true. She begged me for help. Over 17 times this woman asked me for help with her daughter, and I did it out of the goodness of my heart. She also makes false allegations of stalking against 2 of my romantic interests, which, as you can see, Your Honor, from Exhibit 11, communications with Vinnie Penn, and then Exhibit 12, communications with Stephen London, I was not stalking either of these gentlemen. These were people that I was having consensual romantic relationships with. And one of them even reached out to me to warn me about her. The second person contacted me and wants to make dinner plans still. These are not people that I felt threatened or felt like I was stalking them. These were genuine romantic interests of mine that I confided in her, and she was just using this information against me. She also made, Your Honor, that's perjury. She lied under oath to an officer of the court to obtain this application of a protective order against me in another effort to stalk me. This is further stalking on her part. She actually, Your Honor, if you look at the application for a protective order, she actually admits to contacting Chris, and she actually admits to contacting Vinnie Penn. She actually admits to contacting them. She knowingly implicates herself in stalking me, waiving her Fifth Amendment right, and commits perjury. She lied under oath to obtain this protective order against me in another effort to make me suffer. Okay? Not only
What happened in that matter? Was there a hearing?
I applied for a continuance, and there will be a hearing on Monday, and I will be asking them to dismiss it because she made false claims in that application.
Okay, so there's been no hearing yet.
Right, exactly. Okay. And so, for example, she claimed that I have firearms. I do not have firearms. In a text message conversation with her, she warned me that I might possibly get attacked when going to pick up her daughter, and that, you know, in the past, she hasn't felt safe. I told her that I have pepper spray, I have a weapon, and that if anyone tried to attack me, I would use the weapon to defend myself. Pepper spray. Your Honor, all firearms and other weapons were removed from my home in April of 2021 by local law enforcement after my estranged husband was arrested for attacking me. Since then, there have been no firearms and no dangerous weapons in my home. The weapon that I referred to in my text message conversation with her was pepper spray that someone had given to me to defend myself after my sexual assault. Your Honor, if you look at Exhibit 4 is a character letter from Christopher Smith, one of the individuals named in my application for a protective order against her. If you take a look at this letter, he denounces Ms. Antar's actions, acknowledges the mental duress that her stalking and harassment of me caused, acknowledges that I have no weapons, and that I was given pepper spray to defend myself. I also have included a character letter from my supervisor, and I also have included, Your Honor, that's Exhibit 5. And then, Your Honor, Exhibit 3. I'm a T-ball coach. I also volunteer with the Boys and Girls Club. I volunteer with kids all the time, and I have every certification, child abuse, sexual abuse, prevention certification you can imagine. I have never even been accused of a crime, let alone committed one, Your Honor. The application, Exhibit 2, the application for a protective order that she filed against me was completely false. She also made claims in her application for a protective order against me that I was constantly commenting on her social media. Your Honor, please look at Exhibit 9. These are social media communications that Ms. Antar and I have where she is actually commenting on mine and complimenting me.
What are you asking for?
Not only would I like this to be granted, because I really need to get this woman away from me, but this woman actually confesses to stalking me. She actually confesses to stalking me, and she tampered with the sexual assault investigation that I have. She could potentially have robbed me of justice against my rapist.
Okay, so you're asking for an order that she not contact you in any fashion, directly or indirectly? What else?
I want her to stay away from me physically. I want her to stay away from any location where I am. I want her to stop lying about me to other people and accusing me of false crimes. In her application for a protective order, she says that I was trying to ruin her life. I was not. After she started harassing me, I contacted UConn Law School, which is the law school where I am applying. She was recently given an offer of admission. And when I talked to the admissions counselor, this is what they said, Your Honor. They said, we cannot disclose any information about anyone's admission status. But if you have a protective order against someone who is also a potential student, please send us a copy, as that violates our student code of ethics, and no bar examining committee would ever admit this person. Your Honor, this person should not be responsible for adjudicating anybody. She engaged in criminal behavior, and she perjured herself, sir. I mean, she literally committed perjury she lied to an officer of the court in Milford to obtain a false protective order against me. which was another act of stalking that she did to try to make me suffer. All I wanted was for this woman to leave me alone, and she just couldn't take the rejection. She just couldn't take no. She contacted my abuser, putting me in jeopardy. She contacted my romantic interests. And I can only speculate that she contacted my rapist because
Okay.
she
Well,
was
let me hear from Ms. Antar. I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay. So I would first like to state that the civil protection order that I applied for in Milford Judicial Court was granted. However, a hearing was scheduled, but it was granted, and it is currently in effect, which is part of the reason why I requested that this hearing be done virtually, since Ms. Pratzman is ordered not to contact me or my children. It also applies to my 2 minor children, and it's been in effect now for a couple weeks. I've continued the case for the hearing once. She continued it, and I actually filed a motion for continuance again because I have a surgery scheduled on Monday during the hearing. I'm waiting to hear back from the court about when the hearing will be, and hearing whether or not that continuance is going to be granted. However, it remains in effect that she is still the order against her was granted on an ex parte basis. In the application that she applied for in Hartford, she states on the application that I have weapons and ammunition, which is absolutely false. I've never had any weapons in my life. I've never had ammunition in my life. I don't know why she would check off on those boxes stating that I have weapons and ammunition, but that's absolutely false. I do not. Everything that she stated is completely false. Ms. Pratzman is not in therapy. She does not have any mental health treatment. She's not on any medications. She has a very bad drinking problem. She also has a drug addiction, and she suffers from delusions. She was upset after I told her husband that she was on multiple dating sites. She was telling me every day that she really needs sexual gratification, stating that she needs to get laid, she needs to have an orgasm. She stated that she wanted to have sex with the individual Julian, who I've never met or spoken to. She stated he was the man of her dreams after speaking to him only one time on an online dating site named Hinge. She said that he was so perfect. She was sending me pictures of his wife, of his ex, and she was stating that she, oh, I'm prettier than her. Oh, his ex isn't that pretty, so on and so forth. She stated that he works at ESPN. She told me everything that she learned about him and showed me pictures that she had gotten from stalking his ex on Facebook. She stated that she texted me to not contact her again and that she was blocking me. And at that point, I blocked her and I never contacted her, not once. When she told me, don't contact you again, I'm blocking you. After that, never contacted her again. I actually messaged her husband because her husband has been friends with me on Facebook for several years now. And he would regularly message me. He would regularly comment or like on my pictures. I didn't even know it was her husband until I spoke to her and realized that that's what it was. And she stated that he was only adding me on social media to, quote, make her jealous. So I just messaged him, as well as Vinnie Penn, because Vinnie Penn is an individual that Elizabeth stated that she thought he was stalking her. Another delusion that she had was she thought that he was making live videos where he was wearing a t-shirt, which she sent me a screenshot saying, oh, look, I have the same t-shirt. He posted a video in this shirt. He must be trying to send subliminal messages to me. And after she started to go crazy when I messaged her, when I just simply sent one message to her husband, she then, I told Vinny, this individual, Elizabeth, asked me to add him as a friend on Facebook because she stated that he didn't want to speak to her anymore. And she said that she was obsessed with him. She said, can you please add him on Facebook so that I can see what he's up to, so I can see his posts, because I can't stalk him from my profile. I want you to add him, so if he adds you, I can ask you what's on his page. I sent him a friend request. He never accepted it. After Elizabeth had her incident where she got very upset because of me contacting her ex, her current husband, I stated to Vinny that I was concerned about her, given the fact that she was stating that she thought that he was sending out subliminal messages and that he had some obsession with her. And he stated that he was actually scared. He said they never had a consensual sex. He said that he met her only one time and spoke to her only one time during lunch, which he stated during that lunch, he met her one time and after that never saw her or talked to her again. So her saying that they had a relationship for months is completely false. She just met him and only saw him one time at lunch, according to him. He said he was actually scared, and he said he was very frightened because he said that after seeing the notes from her husband, the screenshots from her husband, that he felt that she's very unstable and delusional. I spoke to her husband, Christopher Smith, who stated to me that Elizabeth and him are currently living together. They are not going through a divorce, that they've never even been separated. He stated that Elizabeth likes to make up these fantasies and delusions that she believes are true. He states that this is what she does. She won't get therapy. I've told her several times, have you thought about getting a therapist? When she told me that she was having, difficult times. And she said, oh, I'll just go to the rape clinic. I don't have a therapist. I'm not interested in medication. She states that she drinks morning, noon, and night. Again, the email that I sent to Matthew, my daughter's father, where she was CC'd on it, where I told him, please do not contact her again. Please do not try to sleep with her, because he has a habit of trying to sleep with people that are my friends and people that he has access to. He has a very bad sex addiction, and he slept with our 19-year-old babysitter behind my back. And I explained this to Elizabeth when she kept begging me to be involved with the daughter. The issue that we were having was that I have primary custody of my child. She's supposed to go with her father on the weekends. We had a set meeting location in Naugatuck, Connecticut, which on our agreement was stating that we had to meet there weekly to do the transition of the child. However, we hadn't been meeting there in over 6 months due to change in circumstances. So my ex was saying, either you meet me at this place at this time per the agreement, or I'm not letting you have the child. So I've been having an ongoing issue with the custody and the visitation and his contempt of our agreement and the child support and so on and so forth, which we've gone to court, and that's since been settled. She stated that Mrs. Bowers stated that I was dangerous. That's a lie. I actually just saw Mrs. Bowers an hour ago. Our agreement now states that I bring the child to Mrs. Bowers directly, and we have open communication via phone. Anytime I need to call her, I call her on her house phone, and it's in our court-ordered agreement, which was ordered by Judge Maureen Price Borland in New Haven Court on 4/12/22, stating that child will get dropped off at paternal grandmother's by the mother every Friday. So there's, we are on speaking terms. She is a part of our parenting plan, as well as my mother, who is ordered to be the drop-off point for Mondays. We were able to resolve that issue. However, during the time in March, before we had our date in court, my ex was using the fact that there was a loophole in our agreement to refuse to give me my child. I was emailing him every day, begging him, please bring my daughter home. Please bring my daughter home. As a mother of a 2-year-old daughter, I was extremely desperate to get my child home. I tried calling the police. I tried calling any avenue I could to try to get my child back to me. Elizabeth said she offered, in fact, she begged me to let her help. She said, I'll do whatever you need me to do. I'll help you. I can go pick her up. If you need a babysitter, I can help you, and so on and so forth. She has never met my child. She never actually followed through with any of her offers to help me. The only thing that she did was once or twice made a phone call to Matthew, and she asked me to CC her on the emails, stating that she would mediate and offer to help. I said to her in the beginning, I don't need your help. I don't know if it's such a good idea. I don't want him. And I explained to her my reservation about her being in communication with my ex, given his history of trying to go after people sexually. So again, she stated that I emailed her. That was before she stated not to contact her again. So once I sent that last email, which was basically saying to my ex, and I CC'd her saying, don't try to get with my friends, don't contact her anymore, so on and so forth. Then she sent me a text saying, I'm blocking you. I don't want to talk to you anymore, because I confronted her, because that night at midnight, she was texting me saying, oh, Matthew sent me some text messages. I said, it's very late at night. It's kind of inappropriate Can you please stick to just email if you're going to help or if you're going to contact him? She says, no worries, hun, I'm blocking him. Then the next morning at 7 a.m., she stated that he texted her again. I said to her, I asked her, how did he text you? I thought you blocked him. She says, oh, well, I unblocked him because I wanted to see if he was going to say anything. So then I said to her, well, what did he say? She didn't want to send me the message. I asked her to please send me the screenshot. I explained to her, we have an ongoing custody battle. I need evidence of all the communication of if you are messaging him, attempting to facilitate getting the child home where she was supposed to be because it was during my time and the father was refusing to return her. Elizabeth then refused to send me the screenshots. I asked her multiple times. Finally, she sent it after telling me that, oh, I was overreacting or being rude. And I said to her, please send it to me. After that, she was upset that I sent the email accusing Matthew of talking to her behind my back, which they were. They were communicating after she told me she blocked him. She unblocked him without asking me and was just doing things that didn't make sense and were working against me when she said that she was trying to help. So she then sent me another email after I blocked her stating that she was going to file a frivolous civil lawsuit against me, saying I caused her to have PTSD, stating she was going to file a restraining order. And I never contacted her once after she sent me a text message saying, I'm blocking you, don't contact me again. Not once. I blocked her myself after that. I was going to go block her on social media and I saw she already blocked me. So I moved on with my day. Never contacted her at all.